mainly focus on the application of technologies in the tourism context because I majored in management information systems for my bachelor's degree and PhD degree. So when I entered the field of tourism, I was thinking that I can make use of my background knowledge in the IT adoption and transformation technology and to investigate how they are implied in the tourism context. And so based on that, I mainly explored three areas of research till now. So the first one is the new media marketing. So in this part, I focus on topics such as the social media and brand value, the omnichannel marketing, and the bright side and dark sides of big data marketing in tourism. And I have, if you look at my Google Scholar profile, I have published some papers about these topics in journals such as Tourism Management, Information System Journal, International Journal of Information Management, as well as the Computers in Human Behavior. So those kind of journals, including the tourism journals and the IS journals. And also I've got 2 national grants on this topic. So they are both national grants in China, such as the National Natural Science Foundation of China and the Humanities and Social Science Foundation of the Ministry of Education. So this is the area that I have been working in since my since my doctoral study. And the next one is the technological transformation and emerging tourist behavior. So in this part, I am focusing on some emerging technologies that have been adopted in the tourism context, such as the VR, the AR, that means the augmented reality and the mixed reality, and some other immersive tourism consumption scenarios, such as the immersive performing art, which is very popular in China. So focusing on this topic, I've also conducted some research and publicated in some journals, including tourism journals and also the IS journals. And also I have collaborated with the scholars in the Hong Kong Polytechnic University to conduct some projects on the adoption of VR in tourism. And so we have got some grants from the UGC of Hong Kong. Okay, and the third topic, artificial intelligence and service experience. This is a relatively newly developed research area. As you know that nowadays the tourism industry are increasingly adopting the artificial intelligence, such as the AI service robots or the AI chatbot or the intelligent recommendation systems in their business. So we are looking at how can the AI can facilitate the service delivery, as well as how does the adoption of AI impacts the tourist experience in different contexts. So for in this area, we examine some human-like features of the AI service robots, or the how they use AI to intelligently recommend the products, and how they adopt the chatbot in the service delivery process. So this is quite newly developed, but we still have some papers in the tourism field, such as the publications in the Journal of Travel Research, International Journal of Hospitality Management, and the International Journal of Contemporary Hospitality Management. And we also, because this part is quite practice oriented, so we also cooperated with some local companies, such as the Mercedes-Benz and some local high-tech companies, to see how they really adopt the artificial intelligence in their practice. So these 3 areas are basically the focus that I'm working on nowadays. And the topic today I'm going to talk about falls into the category of the new media marketing. So more about this new media marketing. So in this field, I focus generally on three topics: social media, social commerce, and short video. So as you can see, here are some of the publications we have got on this topic, such as we investigated the social media use among hospitality employees. So this is a paper that will come in next year in tourism management, and it's online already. And also the consumers' adoption, post-consumption behaviors in the social commerce, and the use of gamification technologies in online travel agency platforms, and also some customers' behaviors in the social media platforms. And the paper I'm going to share today is about short video marketing. And this is also a paper that has recently been published in tourism management. It's already online. Mm-hmm. So now, maybe you will wonder why I want to focus on the short video marketing as a emerging form of new media marketing. Actually, I'm not familiar with some of the social media platforms in Korea, so I'm not sure whether you are familiar with short video or not. But in China, the short video platforms are quite popular nowadays, especially along with the pervasive use of the mobile smart devices and the social network. So the consumers or users, they are increasingly using the mobile social platforms to view the short videos. So let's look at some figures. Okay, a recent report by the Deloitte shows that market size of the short video platform is going to reach $4 billion in 2032. That's about 10 years later. So now the market size is around 1.5 billion US dollars. So that's a huge increase. It's a forecast, but we can show that we can see that the growing trend is quite good for the short video platforms. And also, some marketing report shows that nowadays most customers expect the advertisements to be shorter on the mobile platforms, and almost 70% customers want to learn about new products through short videos. So in such a case, the short videos we can see that they have the potential to contribute to the marketing effectiveness. And so how is the effect in the tourism context? So here I list two examples in China. So most destinations in China nowadays, they quickly grasp the growing trend of the short video platform, and they develop the short videos to attract the public's attention through some popular platforms. For example, this one, the left side picture shows the Xi'an. You know, Xi'an is a very famous city in China, and a short video about the Xi'an's 摔碗酒. That means you drink the wine and you break the cup. And so this is a kind of very traditional activity in Xi'an. But this short video, in less than 50 seconds, they quickly spread over the short video platform and got a huge volume of views. And this one in the right side, this is a very famous site in Chongqing, which is my hometown in China. So you can see here that there's a Chongqing light rail station. This is a light rail station, and you can see the train is going past the building. So the tourists they kind of think this is very strange and refreshing. So this kind of short video quickly grabs their attention in the short video platform, and they got more than 100 million times of review on the TikTok, which is a very popular short video platforms in China. And another example, in the year of 2020, a short video about a young boy, which name is Ding Zhen. This young boy, his short video on the TikTok attracted explosive interest from the users, with billions of reviews in just 18 days. The Dingzhen's hometown, which name is Litang County, become a hot tourism spot. So after that, the Litang County has continued to produce a series of promotional short videos on the TikTok platform, and they attracted more than 1.5 million tourists that year and increased the local tourism income by almost 70%. So we can see that through the popular design of the short videos can bring huge benefits for the destination marketing. But also, the academia and the marketing researchers have noticed the favorable effects of short videos on destination promotion. But the underlying mechanisms that how does the short videos contribute to the success of destination promotion is still unclear. Well, they have noted that the short video platforms, they provided new features of the content of marketing video. And also the new channel has some new features that should reshape the logic of the digital marketing. But there's no clear understanding currently in the research that how can we effectively design the short videos to attract the attention of tourists, and how do we match the visual perspective and visual content of the short videos to produce some combined effects that will further enhance the promotion effects of the short videos.
Professor Shi,
okay.
I have a question for this short video contents. I enjoyed pretty much TikTok every day, which is very very interesting to me, and I am kind of a slave of the algorithm materialized TikTok. So I am a modern slave, the professor of the TikTok. Anyway, my question: I have interest in making paper using of TikTok as well, but like that dependent variable, heart and the short message forwarding and the likeness, which is very good variables for dependent variable. But things I curious whether we can get the hard data from the TikTok or by way of data crawling. Probably it is not easy to get the data, hard data from the TikToks. What do you think about that?
So as you can see here in the TikTok, for the promotion effectiveness, you can only get how many likes, how many comments, right, and how many forwards here. But if you want to get more deeper insight, so you need some backstage data. So you need to get that from the company. But I haven't tried that, but I think, as you said, it's not easy. But I've also seen some research. They are analyzing the comments of the customers, like using the machine learning technique to analyze the emotions embedded in those comments, whether they like it or whether they find this interesting, or what kind of emotions they express towards such kind of videos. So that's maybe another way to maybe to measure the dependent variable. But I think this is a very good a perspective of investigating the effectiveness of the short video. But in this research, we only measured the subjective evaluations, that their travel intention after watching the video. But as you said, we can also get some objective measures through analyzing the comments, or maybe just using the numbers of likes or the comments or the forwards. And also we have the data of the number of views of a single video. like how many people viewed this video.
Mm-hmm.
That number is larger than the number of the likes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether I answered your question.
Yeah, yeah. I can do the research using of like a survey method and some of experiment method, but only things I cannot do is directly hard data from the companies or
Yeah.
or data crawling.
Yeah, that may need some collaborations with the company.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, um, so I just mentioned about the research motivation that in the practice. So with that kind of motivation, we have also checked the literature, and there are nowadays already some papers investigating the promotion effectiveness of the short videos, not only in the tourism context, but also in the general marketing context. So previous research shows that unlike the traditional marketing videos, the short videos, they have different features. For example, they must grasp customers' attention and interest in a very limited time. Because the video is short, right? And because you know that when you are viewing the TikTok, you just keep flashing the videos. If the video cannot grasp your attention in maybe the first 5 seconds, they will lose you, right? So for the short videos, if they want to grasp the customer's attention in a limited time, they must combine different features of the video of designing the videos, such as the sounds, the images, and the storylines. So in other words, unlike the traditional marketing videos, which focus heavily on the characters or the stories, the short videos, they rely heavily on the shooting operations. That means the filming skills and some key audio-visual elements, such as the thematic design, the camera angle, the language style they used in order to achieve the best effects in a very limited time. So with that feature in mind, we find that while previous research on the promotional videos, they mainly discussed the strategy use of the short video during the COVID-19 pandemic, or they focus on some traditional elements in relatively long marketing videos, such as the traditional elements of the narratives, the characters, the story plot, and some other things. We find that those features are mainly content related, but they pay less attention to the shooting skills of the short videos. I mean, in other words, little research has investigated the role of the visual and auditory cues in short videos developed especially on the mobile social platforms. And we also find that the literature has actually highlighted 3 aspects of visual and auditory cues in marketing videos that may greatly impact the marketing effectiveness of marketing videos. They are visual perspective, visual content, and the narration appeal. So for the visual perspective is actually regarded as an effective shooting skill that can optimize the presentation of the visual content in the short video. That means how you use your camera to present different perspectives of visual in the short video. So this is defined as an image presentation method in which different points of view are presented in the video by changing the visual angles. And previous research found that visual perspective has a great impact on consumers' information processing and meaning construction. That means when you show the content from different perspectives in the video, the customers may use different mindsets and information processing skills to process the information that you are delivering to them. And we think this is very important in the short video context because, as we said before, the short video rely heavily on the shooting skills to achieve best effects. However, currently, the understanding of how the visual perspective in a short video exerts diverse impacts on the viewer's information processing and the evaluation is quite limited. So another form is the visual content. So the visual content generally refers to the different elements of attractions, or in the tourism context, they refer to the different elements of attractions in the destination marketing served as being presented in the video, and they serve as key visual content presentations of products in the short videos. For example, you may show some recreation activities of the destination, or you may just show them the destination landscape or scenery. So this is the focus of your visual of the key content that you are presenting in a short video. Why we focus on the visual content? Because as I said before, just now, the visual perspective is very important, right? But the previous studies find that the persuasiveness of visual perspective should be dependent on different product categories that are being presented. That means the different elements of attractions presented in a short video, they should be matched with appropriate visual perspective. So in that case, we expect that the effectiveness of visual perspective depends largely on the visual content being presented in the short video. But nowadays, it is not clear in the literature how different visual perspectives may alter the impacts of different visual content in the short video. So in other words, we expect that there is an interacting effect between the visual perspective and visual content. Okay. And except for the visual elements, because the visual perspective and visual content, they both belong to the visual elements. The narration messages, they are also very important because they are the verbal components that can convey product information and provide rich interpretative descriptions of the visual content. So we also choose to focus on the voice-over narrations as additional audio presentation of the messages, and they could offer corresponding audio explanations to the visual content of the videos. So therefore, we think that how different message appeals of the narration moderate the interactive effect between the visual perspective and visual content on the viewer's behavioral intention deserves further understanding. Based on these literal gaps, we have identified 3 key research questions in this study. Firstly, we want to identify the key visual, auditorial, and content feature elements that affect the marketing effect of the short videos. That means, also we have identified visual perspective, visual content, and narration appeal as 3 broad categories that we want to focus on in the short video marketing. We want to be more specific what kind of visual perspectives we want to investigate, what kind of visual content, and what kind of the narration messages we want to focus on. So we want to identify their key features. And secondly, after we have identified the categories, we want to explore the interactive effect between the visual elements and the content features of the short videos. And then we want to analyze the moderating effect of the voice-over narration appeal on the above interactive effect. Okay, so firstly, in order to resolve the first research question, we have done a thorough literature review to differentiate between the short videos and some traditional marketing videos, right? Why we focus on short videos? Because we think they have very different features than traditional marketing videos. That's why we want to focus on some new features of the short videos. So there are many research conducted on the traditional marketing videos, but there are less relatively less research on short videos. But based on the limited literature, we have firstly identified some differences in their essential characteristics, including their duration, production mode, and the consumption scenario. In terms of the duration, the short videos, as you know, they are defined as generally less than 1 minute, but in practice, they are usually less than 30 seconds, right? Especially in the TikTok platforms. And for the traditional marketing videos, they are the mid-length videos usually last from 1 minute to 30 minutes, and longer videos will be more than 30 minutes. And for the production mode, for the traditional marketing videos, they are usually produced by professional organizations with some professional shooting equipments and a large number of personnel. So that means they require high production costs and long production time. But for the short videos, they are usually produced by ordinary users. And well, maybe nowadays some professional organizations, they will also produce them, but that require relatively lower production costs and shorter production time. And they have a high release frequency. And for the consumption scenario, usually we will view the traditional marketing videos on TVs, right? And or on some fixed locations or equipments. But for the short videos nowadays, we mainly view the short videos on the mobile platforms. That means we view those videos during the time of moving, resting, and which presents a fast food style and fragmented tendency. So that further indicates that in those kind of settings, our attention is not quite focused. So in order to grasp the attention, the short videos must be very careful with their design characteristics. And except for the differences in essential characteristics, we also found some differences in the production characteristics, including the visual perspective, visual content, and narration appeal, as we just mentioned. So in terms of the visual perspective, the traditional marketing videos, as they are really longer than in duration, so they utilize different visual variations to convey more rich information. But for the short videos, they usually utilize easy and concise navigation by using a single visual perspective to rapidly grab the attention of the audience. And for the visual content, the content of short videos are also tend to be more focused, and they strike to one major point and go straight to the subject. But for the traditional marketing, they emphasize on the plot development, so that they will include a variety of characters, stories, and narratives and storylines. So that is not quite focused. And finally, for the narration appeal. So since the short video, they are limited in time, so they usually use some simple conversational language to directly show the benefits of the products or services that will appeal to the audience interest. That means they will quickly attract their attention. And for the traditional marketing videos, they will elaborate rich and in-depth information content to impart a more profound and philosophical significance of the videos.
Okay, Prof Si Shi. Okay. My question, like a short video, traditional video, two classification, which is very essential and necessity, the classification. And you figure out three differences: duration, production mode, and consumption scenario. But my question, what do you think about that? The TikTok is pretty much operating by the AI and algorithm-based the approach. So I know that you are classified the three types of dimensions: visual, perspective, contents, and narration appeal. But why we are particularly TikTok is so different from others is the algorithmic approach and the recommendation to the users and viewers. Did you think about that the AI characteristic of this research topic model?
Well, as you just mentioned that you see that the platform of TikTok is very different from the other video platforms because they use very good algorithm to accurately match with the viewer's interest and recommend videos that you like. I think this is a very potential research area. But in this project, in this paper, we didn't specifically focus on the AI aspect because we mainly focus on the features of the videos, not the platforms. But I think the point that you just mentioned is valuable for investigating as because in China we still have other platforms of short videos. There's a fierce competition between the platforms, but why TikTok can attract so many users, why TikTok is a success, I think that is owing to its successful manipulation of the algorithms and the use of AI recommendation systems. Yeah, I think this is a quite interesting research area, and we can do some projects on that aspect, and I think that will have a great significance, especially for the practitioners. Yeah. But for this project, we didn't analyze the platform characteristics. We purely focus on the video characteristics. I mean, compared with the traditional marketing videos, such as the advertisements on TVs, the promotional short videos on the short video platform is quite different. So we are trying to give some suggestions for the practitioners who are designing their promotional short videos for the destinations, how they should design their content, their visual perspective, and their narrations in the video.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think that's a very interesting research idea. Okay. Yeah. So based on this differences between the short videos and the traditional marketing videos, we have gained a deeper understanding of the distinctive characteristics embedded in the visual perspective, visual content, and narration appeal for these short videos. So based on the literature, we have dived deeper into the specific categories that we want to focus on different variables. So the first variable, visual perspective. So as you can see here, we have two pictures here, right? Here you can see. So I think it's very obvious that they are taken from different perspectives. This one is a first-person perspective. That means you saw the picture as you are rolling the boat, right? And this picture is taken from a third-person perspective. Okay. So when we read the literature on visual perspective, we find that the first-person and third-person perspectives are broadly considered and discussed in research. So as shown in the pictures, the first-person visual perspective directs individuals to see an event through their own eyes as spectators in a scenario. While the third-person perspective, they direct individuals to observe the event from an external perspective, much like an observer, right? So these two visual perspectives, they actually play different roles in influencing consumers' judgments, feelings, and behavioral patterns, and which are inherently also related to consumers' information processing styles. Okay. So as these two perspectives are broadly discussed in literature, but they have not been focused in the short video context. And we observe that nowadays many short videos, they either focus on first person or third person perspective. So we expect that these two perspectives will also exert diverse impacts on the viewers' information processing during watching the short video. And the next variable is the visual content. Okay, so the visual content is another important visual element of the short videos. So as still shown by these two pictures, they are the castles of Disneyland. Okay, so this picture only shows the castle. This is a scene, right? And for this picture, it shows the activity in front of the castle. Right? So they have different focus of the visual content in these two pictures. This one focuses on the site, and this one focuses on the activity. So in our research, the visual content mainly refers to the important destination attractions and the surrounding environment captured by the tourism short videos, such as the activities, landscapes, and people, and the environment, and so on. And we find that research on the categorization of the visual content of videos especially in the tourism context, they usually consider the differences in video themes by identifying two major categories, including the activity-centric and site-centric. Okay, so centric means it's a focus. So for the activity-centric, the focus is on activity, but still they have the site, right? But for the site-centric, the focus is on site, but maybe they still have people or some activities around, but the focus is on the scene or the site. So to be more specific, the activity-centric content focuses on the different kinds of activities in the destination, which contain some contextual bodily movements that can provide rich sensor information. In contrast, the site-centric content mainly represents landscape and scenery of the destination, which contains the symbolic meaning of the site, and usually will stimulate the viewer's persuasive of meaning related to that site. So previous literature have suggested that the degree of embodiment induced by different visual content will lead to the audience's different information processing styles and also their control levels. Okay, so this is our focus on the visual content. We expect that the content of activity-centric or site-centric will impact how the tourists or viewers process the information in the short video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for the third variable, narration appeal, as I just mentioned, in addition to the above visual elements, the voice-over narration presents one of the most important verbal interpretations of the short video. So the narration message, they actually play a role similar to the audio caption of films, okay, which provides essential information to move the story along. And they also present some key product information that will appeal to the audience. Okay, so the research on the narration appeal has suggested that the rational and emotional appeals are most commonly used to communicate either the utilitarian or hedonic purposes of the products or services to motivate the consumers. So as you can see from this picture, the right side is the consumers utilizing rational thinking, right? So the rational appeal will usually introduce some fact-based information or some calculation-based facts to persuade the customers through some logic and analytical thinking. And from the right side, this customer is utilizing emotional mindset. So that means the emotional appeals will attempt to persuade the consumers by steering their emotions and inner feelings connected to the product. Okay, so we expect that these two types of narration appeals, when combined with short videos produced in different visual perspective and visual content, they may produce some interactive effects that will influence the customers' information processing during watching the short video. Okay. So based on the literature, we aim to employ the control level theory and the elaboration likelihood model to develop a meta framework that will explain the joint impact of the three variables that we just mentioned: visual perspective, visual content, and narration appeal on the effectiveness of short video marketing of destinations. So firstly, the control level theory. The control level theory generally explains that individuals, they have two types of controls when they process information: high-level control and low-level control. Okay, so if so the mental the different levels of mental controls will impact the customer's prediction, evaluation, and processing of the information. Specifically, when the individuals are psychologically distant, far away from an event or object, they will think the event or object as more abstractly and focus on the broader perspective. That means they are in a high-level control. On the contrary, when they are psychologically close to an object or event, they will think it as more concretely and take a narrower perspective and focus on more details. In that case, they are in a low-level control. Okay, as you can see from this picture. So on the left side, if a man is thinking of an event which is 3 months away, that is relatively distant from now, right? So this man will think this event as more abstractly. That is, he's in a high-level control and focus on the broader perspective. But if he is thinking of an event which is tomorrow and which is very close from now, he will focus on more details and take a narrower perspective. So in this case, he is in a low-level control. Okay, so these two different levels of controls will impact the individual's information processing styles. Well, actually, the different types of psychological distance have been discussed in relation to the control levels. And among them, the social distance occupies a core place in explaining different control levels between the self-view and other view. Okay, so and the self-view and other view has been evidenced in research on the first-person and third-person perspective. Specifically, literature has pointed out that a first-person visual perspective is as the self-view, and this perspective involves a more direct interaction with environment or the social targets. Thus, the first-person visual perspective can reduce the psychological distance between you and the object, and that will imply a lower control level in information processing. So, on the other hand, a third-person visual perspective, which is the other view, this can increase the psychological distance between you and the object, and that means they will elect a higher level control. So in this case, if you are viewing a destination from a third-person perspective, you will perceive it as psychological distant from you, and you may use abstract cues to mentally represent the object. Okay, so based on this literature, we have matched the first-person and third-person perspective with the low-level and high-level controls when processing information. Okay, except for the visual perspective, the visual content is also related to individuals' control levels, because the visual content central to embodiment cognition would activate the audience simulations of potential actions. Accordingly, the activity-centric content in short videos, they could lead to a more situational and concrete experience. And that will encourage the viewers to process the information using a low-level construct. Right? When you are watching an activity, you are feeling that you are participating in the activity. You will feel more of embodiment in the short video. So you will focus more on the details and use concrete thinking. That is a low-level construct. On the other hand, if the short video is presenting the scenery or landscape of destinations, they will stimulate the symbolic meanings of the site. So the site-centric content will encourage customers to engage in more abstract thinking because they are taking the landscape as a whole to process the image of the destination, and that will induce a high-level construct when process the video information. So based on that, we have mentioned that both the visual perspective and the visual content can induce different levels of construct in customers. And the construct level theory suggests that individuals will favor information, experience, and events that correspond to their mental representation when making decisions. In other words, matching messages with the same level of construct can facilitate the audience message processing and result in more favorable outcomes. Okay.
My question.
Okay.
Like myself and the third person, and background and activity. It's quite understandable between different construct level, low level, high level. But as you explained about the time, temporal distance between near distance and far distance, but how we can apply for near distance, far distance to the context of this, the short video, something like uploading date we appeared, or what do you think about that?
Okay. So the distance is obviously related to the construct levels. And previous literature, they discussed the distance in terms of time, also in terms of social distance. So the perspective just I mentioned just now is based on the social distance. I mean, you're far away from the object or you are close to the object. But the point you mentioned now is about the time distance, right? So where I'm going to visit tomorrow or in the future. I think that's another perspective can be manipulated in a short video. But it's not manipulated in this study because we are not showing the time differences in short videos. I mean, if it's for a promotional marketing video, it's hard to show the time differences. Yeah, but when some marketing studies they are considering the time differences, they will maybe ask the customers to imagine a purchase behavior in the near future or in the far future and to see how that will impact their behavior. But in the context of the short video marketing, it is very hard to demonstrate the time differences in the videos. So we focus on the perspective of social distance.
Social distance.
The self view or the other view.
How about this? Like you said, there's two types of difference, rational perspective and emotional perspective from the narrative context. So we can talk about narratively about the situation emotionally and rationally. And also we can talk about something like we're going to go the canoe tomorrow. Well, let's go to the canoe next coming summer vacation. So if we put the kind of a narrative into the narrative situation, probably we can indirectly measure that kind of a distance the situation. What do you think?
Yeah, that could also be possible if, like, for example, if you are marketing for
Mm.
the vacation in maybe next 10 days,
Mm-hmm.
or you are just trying to motivate them to take action right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's quite interesting. Maybe deserves further understanding in the future research. I mean, how you
So
use
like,
time
uh-huh.
frames short video
For
marketing.
example, like from the Facebook, the friends, they are keep posting their upcoming event, okay, next month and the next the season, wherever. So to me, if they are posting their marketing, the contents, the coming next month, probably I look at the very detailed information from that the posting. But however, if they posting the next coming winter or spring, right? And probably I look at just the scenery and something imaginary, the stuff. So short video probably is not easy to mention that kind of stuff, but we can do the experimental design, put something like information into that short video and print that the text into short video, and we may measure it.
Yes, I agree
Mhm.
that they should use very different strategies when they are
Mhm.
promoting events far away or quite close to now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes, that's a very interesting perspective. So, okay, I continue. As I just said, that matching messages that produce the same level of control will lead to more favorable outcomes, which has been evidenced by previous research. So, specifically, the individuals are likely to experience a higher sense of mental fluency when processing information that is compatible with their mental state. For example, when they are viewing the first person view, they're already in the low level construct, right? So they want to process the visual content that also matches with the low level construct. In that case, it will be easier for them to imagine about the actions that they will take in the future. So here, the mental fluency, the imaginary fluency pertains to the extent of ease with which people develop mental images for processing the information, which is a potential psychological mechanism that can explain the persuasiveness of a visual advertising strategy. That means if they can easily imagine themselves taking the activity in the site or visiting the site, they will be more likely to take actions in the future. So, in other words, a congruent processing style evoked by the visual perspective and the visual content could lead to more fluent mental imagery and thus result in more favorable behavioral outcomes. So, based on that, we propose the research framework of our first study. Specifically, we expect that promotional videos presenting activity-centric using a first-person perspective or a promotional video presenting site-centric content using a third-person perspective will foster higher travel intention among individuals. And such a congruity effect is mediated by imaginary fluency. Okay, so this model demonstrates that there's a match between the visual perspective and visual content. And because of those matches can produce higher imaginary fluency, they result in higher travel intention. So we still have a third research question, right? We want to examine the modulating effect of the narration appeal. So based on that, we built on the elaboration likelihood model. So the elaboration likelihood model has established that individuals will usually process information using two routes, the central route and the peripheral route. So for the central route, they usually depend on the systematic cues to engage in a high level of cognition evaluation. And for the peripheral route, they usually rely on the heuristic cues to rely more on the intuitive thinking and emotional reactions. And according to the construal level theory, as we just mentioned above, the people's different construal levels will also influence their preference for elaboration cues. Okay, so here we introduce two types of elaboration cues in the short videos. They are the rational appeal of the narration message and the emotional appeal of the narration message. So the rational appeal provides the factual evidence for products and to present the calculated advantages of products or services. In that case, they serve as the systematic cue, okay, which require analytical thinking and rational thinking to process. So as I just mentioned, the systematic cue is correlated with people's central route of processing information. And for the emotional appeal, it is more related to the fulfillment of psychological, social, or symbolic needs of individuals who are purchasing the product, which serve as the heuristic cue, which rely more on the affective associations or simply intuitive inferences to form judgments. Okay, so this kind of heuristic cue is correlated with the peripheral route of information processing in individuals. Okay, so previous research support the notion that when individuals are in the mindset of high-level construal, they prefer to process heuristic information and rely more on intuitive thinking, right? As we just mentioned, the high-level construal, the mindset usually focuses on some abstract or broader perspectives of events. So in that case, they prefer to process heuristic information, or they can better process heuristic information. And when they are in the low-level construal, they usually rely on systematic information for analytical judgments because they want to focus on some more details, right? They focus on the narrow perspective. That means they tend to process some systematic information and use the cognitive attention to form analytical judgments. Accordingly, based on the integration.
Before we go there, please take a look at the typing message part. One student's note.
Okay.
A question about the short video. The main point is momentary entertainment, then gathering tourism information, which is it's very.
It is clear. It can be. Okay, I agree that nowadays people usually grasp the short video platforms for fun, for entertainment during their leisure time, yes. Right? But for the marketers, they also see huge potential of the marketing effectiveness of the short videos. So as you can see, from time to time, we will receive the marketing information generated recommended by the platform, which is also a kind of an advertisement from the platform. So that doesn't mean that the viewers have to browse those kind of information. You can ignore it, but if you can catch the attention from the tourists, that will give you the opportunity to promote your destination. So we're saying that although the short video platform provides great opportunities for marketing, they also provide challenges. As you just said, people want to have fun or entertainment. They may not want to pay attention to the tourist information, right? So how to maybe just for several seconds, how to effectively deliver your information to a tourist during their entertainment time on the short video platform is a key question for the marketers, because this is a good platform for promoting. They have to grasp this opportunity, but they don't know how to develop the short video promotional short videos that can be effective. Maybe if you still use the traditional way to deliver the advertisements on short video platforms, the viewers will not look at it, right? You will just slip away, and you will not give it a like. You will not share it because they're boring, right? So your promotional videos must match with the features of short videos. You must know how to grasp the attention of the viewers in the first few seconds, and that may give you a chance to increase the traffic intention of it.
Like the ELM model and CLT model, which is very main theory of marketing field and tourism field, which is very parsimonious and is to investigate two types of dimensions. But my curiosity is what the student noted here, momentous or just ignoring. There is a new aspect of consumers' behavior. Sometimes I ignore it, contents, and I just draw attention very short seconds, and just without thinking, without pay attention, sort of things. So that's new trend of consumers, viewers, and behaviors. So I know that we need to get the very famous the research, the theory, and apply that theories into our context, such as short video context. But we need to investigate other theories in explain something like, okay, momentous entertainment, or ignore the stuff, because short video is just a slide, the next stage is kind of too easy to ignore, which is very valuable to me. Conversely, so that's what I got the opinion on the short video. How short should be, how the short video can be extended if we made a good contents or valuable contents. So probably few seconds. How few seconds we can get the attention? This is my curiosity, actually.
Actually, I have seen some research. They have conducted experiments to see, like just you mentioned, how many seconds the viewers stay on the page. And so that kind of research, they focus mainly on the content of the video, like what content you show to them in the first few seconds. And also some of them will use some techniques such as the gamification. They will invite you to interact with the content of the video, and that might be quite effective. And also we are also doing some research on the gamification effects on the short video platform, and also on the use of VR. So I think that because it's true that nowadays we can only focus for a very limited time. So how to use different strategies to catch their attention is a field that deserves deep understanding. But our research, this research is actually built on the previous research that examines the effectiveness of content. We agree that content is very important, right? But what we're trying to say is that except for the content, your perspective of the camera angle and the narration messages should match with the content you are presenting. So that will add to the promotional effect of your content. Yeah, but content is still, the research on the content is still the mainstream of the video marketing, right? And also some modern techniques that applied together with in the content, such as the gamification techniques that I just mentioned. So here's another question. I'm curious whether there's a reasonable big bias to suggest that people are more likely to choose social videos compared to Okay, so this is a very good question. Well, I'm not trying to say that the people are more likely to visit the sites through short videos compared to the traditional videos. But I'm trying to say here is that there's a trend that nowadays people try to get more information from the short videos because as in China, nobody watches TV anymore, you know. Yeah, because
Yeah,
when we watch
yes.
TV, we just use our cell phone, right? We get all the information online from the cell phones, and nobody will view the official website of the tourism destinations, of course. So if how do you get into the site of the tourists? I mean, short video just provide you with a channel that you can get in touch with the tourists, that you can then be aware of your destination. Well, if they are interested, if they have a potential travel intention, they will maybe turn to other channels or information sources to get more comprehensive information. The short video platform may just serve as just how do I say that? Just serve as a informing channel that can let tourists be aware of your destination or just arouse their interest on your destination. But I haven't compared with the traditional tourism information platforms, but I think they serve different purposes nowadays. I didn't know whether I have answered the question to
Mhm.
this student. Okay, so very good questions. I think also you have raised some potential areas that you can continue the research on short video marketing. There's still a lot of areas to explore, as you mentioned. Okay, thank you. No problem. If you have any questions, you can just type in the chat box, and I can see your questions. Okay.
Good.
So I continue.
Mhm.
So I just introduced the elaboration likelihood model, right? So based on the integration of the construal level theory and elaboration likelihood model, we know that when people are in different levels of of construal levels, they prefer to process different kinds of information cues. So in that case, we expect that individuals who watch short videos with first-person perspective and activity-centric content utilizing low-level construal will prefer to process narration messages with the systematic cues, that is the rational appeal. And when they are watching short videos with third-person perspective and site-centric content in a high-level construal, they may rely more on the narration message appeals with heuristic cues, that is the emotional appeal. So in that case, the fit between the tourist construal levels and the information cues could enhance the persuasiveness of the marketing information. That means they can better receive the information that you deliver to them and make them and result in more favorable attitudes or behavioral intentions. So this is the research framework of our study 2. We also propose two mediators in between, which is recollection and affect intensity. So the recollection is a key mediator through which the match between the low-level construal and rational appeal enhances the travel intention. And affect intensity is a key mediator between the impact of the match between high-level construal and emotional appeal and the travel intention. Okay, so here's the model of study 2. And for our research design, we utilized the experimental research approach to test our hypothesis. And before the experiment, we collected and viewed a large number of destination marketing short videos generated by destination organizations from some popular short video platforms. As I mentioned, we only consider the promotional short videos from destination organizations, and we did not consider the videos from the users because we want to see how the official destinations produce their short videos nowadays. And we analyzed their short videos, and we manually coded the features of these real-world promotional short videos. And in that case, we have integrated the features to design our short video stimuli in the experiment, following the mainstream presentation styles, such as their background music, copywriting, and their shooting skills. For the experiment material, we cooperated with a local tourism destination to develop the various versions of the promotional short videos in our experiment based on our between subjects factual design. We manipulated the visual perspective, visual content, and narration appeal of the different versions of the promotional short videos. And after that, we have conducted a pretest by recruiting nearly 200 participants to assess the successful manipulation of our stimuli before the formal experiment. And also, the participants assessed the perceived credibility, perceived understandability, and some other control variables of the short videos. And the pretest showed that our manipulations of those key variables are successful. And for the measurement items of our key mediating and dependent variables, such as the imagery fluency, recollection, affect intensity, and the travel intention, we adapted established measurements from the literature and slightly modified their wordings to fit our context. And for the data collection, we cooperate with leading research service company, which is called Credemo in China, to recruit the participants to conduct the scenario-based experiment. And in total, we collected 928 valid samples.
Credemo is one kind of Amazon TikTok, a similar one.
It's similar, but for Credemo, the company will help you to recruit the participants. But I know for Enter, it's that you post the surveys online, right? And you recruit the participants yourself. But Credemo, is that you pay the company, then they have you recruit some eligible participants.
Okay.
For data analysis, we employed the SPS software to do the various analysis. Okay. The research done. And here are some examples of the screen captures in our short videos. Okay. So as you can see here, the two pictures, these two are the activity centric. Okay. And this is from a first person perspective, and this is from a third person perspective. And these two are the screenshots of the site-centric videos. And this one from the first-person perspective, and this one from the third-person perspective. So we have designed a very detailed plot guidelines to shoot the videos, and we have edited them based on our codings of the mainstream short video features. And here's an example of our narration appeals embedded in the short videos. For example, this is a rational appeal in the activity-centric content. This is the emotional appeal in the activity-centric content. You can see here, although they are introducing the same activities or sites, they use different appeals. This one focuses more on the utility values or the designs of the activities, and this one focuses more on the emotional aspects, which will aims to steer your inner feelings. Okay, and here similarly, this is rational and this is emotional for the site-centric content. Okay, for the results of study 1, we firstly conducted a two-way ANOVA to analyze the interactive effect between the visual perspective and visual content on the tourist travel intention. So as you can see here, the interactive effect is significant as shown in this figure. Okay, so the for the first person perspective, the activity-centric content results in higher visit intention. And for the third person perspective, the site-centric content results in higher visit intention. And we also use the bootstrap analysis to test the mediation effect of the imaginary fluency, and the result is also significant. So in this case, our first two hypotheses were supported. Okay, and for the study 2, we further analyzed the moderating effect of the narration appeal. As you can see, the moderation effect is also significant with the rational appeal works better on the congruity between first person with the activity, and the emotional appeal works better with the third person with site content. And for the mediation analysis, so the mediating effect of affect intensity is supported, while the mediating effect of recollection is not supported. So here, very interestingly, as I think that one explanation may be that, as the student just mentioned, that when people are watching the short videos, they are more in the hedonic mindset, then they want to enjoy themselves. So although you provide them with the more information corresponding to the low-level control, they will not have a higher level of recollection after the video. That means after the video, if you ask them to recollect the detailed information based on some analytical thinkings, the effect is not significant. So that means also that kind of match of control resulting in higher visit intention, the effect is not mediated through recollection. Okay, maybe it's just because they match their information processing style, but they did not elaborate carefully on those detailed information. So the mediating effect of recollection is not significant here. And also this demonstrate that affect intensity, which is emotionally oriented, is a key mediator that will explains the favorable effect of marketing short marketing videos on people's behavioral intention. That means if you can steer their emotional reactions, there will be better effect. Okay, for the discussion of our results. So firstly, our results supported that the prediction that there is a congruity between visual perspective and visual content in enhancing the message effectiveness of the short videos. While some previous studies suggest that the first-person perspective is more meaningful or impactful than third-person perspective, or vice versa, our study reveals that the presence of there is a boundary condition under which the visual perspective may exert diverse effects. I mean, use which perspective is dependent on the visual content that you are presenting in your marketing video. And the mediating role of the imaginary fluency further confirms that the previous notion that when individuals can easily generate imaginations of the journey to the destination, their visit intention can be enhanced. Okay, so we also provided empirical evidence to support the notion that there is a possible interacting effect between individuals' control levels and information elaboration queues. As the control level theory and elaboration likelihood model has been extensively adopted in previous research, our study serves as one of the first to integrate them to explain their joint effects on individuals' information processing. And the examination of the two distinct mediators further provide further understanding of the mechanisms underlying the modulated effects. As I just mentioned, we compared between the affect intensity and the recollection passes. We find that only the emotional path serves as the greatest impact in explaining how the promotional short videos could result in better promotional effects. So no matter what kind of information you are providing to them, no matter what kind of control levels you induced for the viewers, the effect intensity is among the most important variables that you should consider. So our study would also contribute to both theory and practice in several important ways. Firstly, for the theory, we extend literature by empirically demonstrating the effectiveness of short video promotion depends largely on how the visual perspective and visual content could match with individuals' mindsets to produce the concrete control levels of information processing. In that way, we made a worthwhile development of the control level theory in the context of the destination marketing through the new media. And second, the results regarding the interplay between the control levels and information elaboration queues contribute to the understanding of how the individuals could rely on different routes of information processing to form judgments with different mindsets, I mean the abstract mind or concrete mind. Okay? So that means through integrating these two theories, we instructed a more holistic side of the interactive effect between the control levels and the information elaboration routes. And thirdly, we provide a deeper understanding of the underlying mechanisms through which the interactions between visual and verbal elements in short videos can produce the favorable effects. Okay, and for the practical marketing practices. So as I just said, the short video is a newly emerging form of marketing. And since nowadays the customers spend more and more time on this kind of platform, the marketers should grasp this opportunity, but they should also be cautious about the challenges when they implement the short video marketing strategy. That means you cannot still use the traditional way of marketing in the short video platform, because as people's attention time is limited and they have more choices and they can easily choose to ignore your information. So you have to actively grasp their attention in the limited time and use appropriate skills. And also we agree that content is the most important thing that you should focus on. You should not ignore the shooting skills that could be matched with the content. So we give three main advices to the marketers. Firstly, the marketers should carefully design the short video platforms in terms of the visual and verbal elements to enhance their effectiveness. So the visual perspective should be considered as an artistic and representational tool that can significantly affect the viewer's cognitive and emotional reactions. And further, given the key mediating role played by the imaginary fluency, the marketers can optimize the display format of the short videos to help the tourists better imagine and comprehend the visual content. For example, they can creatively apply some various film skills such as long and short lens, zoom lens, depth of field techniques, as well as over the shoulder angles, so those kind of things to help them better imagine themselves in the contextual settings. And finally, the marketers should be cautious about the message appeals embedded in the narration. So in short, the message appeals should match with the visual perspective and visual content you're presenting. And given the key mediating role of the affect intensity, the marketers should creatively utilize the acoustic elements such as the sound effects to enhance the viewer's emotional responses when watching the short videos, and maybe other some techniques as we just mentioned, such as the gamification techniques. Okay, so these are the major practical implications. Last but not least, this study is still limited in several ways, which can be addressed by future studies. Firstly, we only focus on a single perspective for each short video. That means we focus either on the first person or third person perspective, but we did not examine the combination of the visual perspectives. We originally thought that in such a short time, it's very confusing if you change from different angles. But there's some, in practice, there are some videos they have changed from different perspectives. So we thought that this might also be worth investigating. And we only consider two major visual content types. Maybe there are some other types of the content can be also considered. And also we only focus on the mainstream promotional short videos nowadays. I mean the short videos produced by the official organizations. And there still exist on some other types of short videos, such as the vlogs generated by users. That means the UGC, right? Nowadays, I think as previous research mainly focused on the text-based UGC. So I think nowadays it is worth to investigate the video-based UGC and how that will impact the other consumers' behaviors. And also, I think cross-cultural studies should be encouraged since this is a worldwide phenomenon, and we only collect data in China. So I think there might be some cultural differences. So if we can collect data in different geographical locations, we can observe more rich information from the cross-cultural comparisons. And also during our discussion just now, there are also many other directions to explore the short video topics, such as Professor Ku mentioned the AI-based recommendation systems adopted in this platform, right? And also the psychological distance perspective of time, and also maybe the other techniques used, such as some interactions used in the short videos. I think those topics are really valuable and worthwhile to investigate. Okay, so that's so much of my presentation today. I hope I hope I have clearly explained the key ideas in this paper, and all questions are welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Si Shi. It's a fantastic presentation and a very interesting topic. The phenomenon is already widely spread. The short video, reels, sort of things. But today is important. The stuff is the camera shooting style. Is that right? And then the camera shooting style matching with the theories. See, constant level theory and elaboration likelihood models, which is a very key theory models for advertisement the papers. But anyway, my question about your paper. Anyway, did you publish this paper to somewhere?
Yes, this is recently published in Tourism Management.
Okay, good. Wow, the top journal in tourism and hospitality field. Congratulations.
Thank you.
My question, like, the shooting style. From your presentation, I can only see the people shooting by myself here. Okay, picture, video. Okay, shooting by myself or shooting somebody like a third party shooting. This is a sportic, scenery. But what do you think about the like a folk music, folk village, and very traditional scene, sort of things? People probably take a photo of folk village, the traditional, the resident, doing their focusing on their jobs. In that case, people like more, wow, this is a real style, uh, the image and the scenes, like and also like you said, your country is famous for panda. Panda is animals. Animals is another types of the short videos. So that would be is another perspective. And also these days, a lot of people like crazy about the selfie photos. But now is not like a selfie photos. It's just a background or from the backs. So if they take a photo or take the short video by like a selfie style, probably is much more appeal to the viewers. And also like a activity based and first person and third person. That's a good idea, and the rational emotional is good idea. But I like much more taking into that what is a really different stuff from the short video, which appeal to the viewers. That's the key. Like when you said vlog or YouTube, there's a lot of the contents they are creating and providing. But short video is very different style. Okay, that's my idea, and then I got a very good research idea from your presentation. Probably I will jump into this area as well next time.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I think your ideas are really valuable and interesting. And I think yes, that there are more types of visual perspective and visual content to be explored. Well, I think we can also use some other research methods except the experiment, because in experiment we can only control for very limited things. And if we use some kind of maybe the machine learning or some kinds of techniques that can capture the techniques of the videos, and we can do more interesting research, I think. As you said, we can also use some objective measures as the dependent variable to see really how different features of the short videos they get more likes or get viewers to stay for a longer time on the page. I think that will be a very good research.
Good. And students? Okay, if you want to publish in tourism management like her, you have to ask some your research idea to her. She will evaluate what you're thinking. And
hello, Professor. Thank you for your great presentation. I have one question about like how you filtered participants, because like when I was watching all the presentations, like I thought like all the variables are pretty much everything about how the contents were generated. And on the other hand, the theory you used was about the control level theory, which is like extremely subjective factor. And although like visual perspectives can work as like one of the factor for the control level, there might be other subjective factors like that could be like tourist or tourism sites. Like for example, like the experiment stimuli were mainly focused about like amusement park, but maybe the participant already have the short psychological distance or like maybe like been to amusement park last week. So like did you like use any filter questions or like screening questions?
Okay, thank you for your question. So, firstly, we have considered that maybe if we use a very well-known or a destination that they're familiar with, that will may impact their responses. So we use a fictitious name of the destination, and where we shoot the short video is from a local tourism destination that has not been opened. So we collaborate with a local destination. So we can guarantee that they have never been there. And also we have screening question that's to test their familiarity with the content and their perceived credibility of the content. And we assess the differences across groups. And there's no differences in terms of the perceived familiarity and also the credibility. And also, as you said, that the evaluation of the visual perspective and visual content can be subjective. We have a manipulation check to assess their evaluation of the visual perspective. For example, after they watch the video, we will ask them whether this is shoot from a first person or a third person perspective. So we found a significant difference between the first person group and third person group, and the same as the activity-centric, site-centric content. So that's pretty much about the manipulation check. Is that your question?
Yeah, and I have another one more questions because it's about like short videos. How was the demographics, like age or like economic status of the participants? Because like when I did like social media research, pretty much everyone was about like around like 20s, 30s, like really young people. And then like I thought that's quite biased. So how was yours?
Well, firstly, as I said, we asked the company of Credemo to collect data for us. So we have certain requests on the sample. I'm trying to find the sample profile in the paper. Just wait a minute. Sample. We didn't provide the table here because of the limit of space in the paper, but we mentioned about the sample. Okay, so our sample accounted for 60% female and 40% of male, and among them, 34% were between 18 years old and 24 years old, and 28% were between 25 to 29, and 28% between 30 to 39. So as you can see here, still we have maybe about 80% of our samples from between 18 years old and 40 years old. They are still, the young generation or mid-age generation, because that's the sample profile of short video platforms nowadays. So as long as you can demonstrate that your sample profile is consistent or close to the sample file of your research target population, it is okay. I got the questions from the viewers when I do social media research. The same question as you just said. The participants are generally young, so I will give them the data about the sample profile of social media platforms nowadays. And as they can see that the most users are young. So our sample frame is consistent with the population frame.
Okay, like the students are asking about something, control variable and the moderating variable, which is very legitimate and is a necessary question for these research models. Right now is still early stage for the short video and reels sort of things. There's a lot to do research, including moderating variable, control variable, and other like a 2x2 research model and 2x3 research model for this topic, and also like self-style and third-party sort of things. So it is a really huge chance to us to get this presentation and an opportunity to find out your research topics. Okay, other students, you will be tourism management someday later.
Are they all in tourism management?
Sure.
Oh, it's just that some are from other disciplines, right?
And other students? Can I ask? Okay.
I am Keshan. Thank you for the very interesting lecture. It was time to think about the short video platform seriously. It is said that the more depressed modern people are, the more time they spend watching short videos. It's just because time meaninglessly. So what are some ways to overcome this problem and make short videos meaningful to people?
You mean people are addicted to the short video platform, and how can we do about that? Is that your
Addicted
question?
and depression.
So,
yeah, me too. Sometimes I have sorely depression, and I just look at the short video and ignoring, but it's still absorbed that contents unconsciously.
And yeah, I think there are some research on the impact of IT on well-being. Although I did not focus on that kind of research, but I read some articles. They are investigating how can we use the technology to improve the well-being of employees of people, but not bring them with trouble, right? So I think if you want to focus on this research, you can focus on the techniques of the platform. For example, they have certain strategy to prevent you from spending too much time on it, such as TikTok. If I view TikTok at 11 p.m., so the TikTok will remind me that it's already too late. You may get rest. So such kind of strategies. I mean, there's some behavioral strategy or technical strategy or other strategies that can be used to, prevent people from being too addicted to it, and also some psychological strategies. I'm not familiar with that kind of research, but if you search online, you will find a lot of research on social media addiction. And then I think some kind of a series can be borrowed into this context. Because for the short video, I think it's quite different because it keeps pushing information to you, right? And you just slide. But for the social media, you are trying to find the information by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So the TikTok can make you addicted easily because they push the content that you like, and you don't have to spend extra efforts to find the information. So I think there are some strategies can really be used to help users from such as the mindfulness training, as I read in one paper. You can train the mindfulness of the employees to help them from doing too much cyber slacking during work, that kind of things. I hope I have answered your question.
Okay. And the next?
Hello, Professor. Do you hear me? Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you for your interesting lecture, and I have a questions about your model discussed during the lecture time. So I'm curious about its applicability to the traditional video marketing, from my perspective, it seems that that model can also be used in the traditional video marketing as well. So could you please elaborate that model is specifically perfect for only the short form video content? Because in this lecture, like, I do not see any short form characteristic like the background music or like camera setting.
Good critics.
Selfie or something like this. So could you please elaborate that model?
Thank you. Very good question. As I just explained that since the traditional marketing videos, they are usually longer in time, so they will not, for example, they will not rely on a single visual perspective to present the information, and their content is not that focused. So if you look at the research on the traditional marketing videos, they focus on a lot of things such as the narratives, the development of the plots, and so on. But for the short videos, since the time is limited, they are usually more refined and focused. So that means, for example, for the visual perspective, they will not change too many visual perspectives from one to one. They usually rely on a single perspective to present the content that is more focused. And for the content and the narration, they are more straightforward, that appeal to the interest of customers because they want to clearly deliver the message. The viewers don't have much time for you to develop your thoughts slowly, right? So they want to just hit at the major points at the beginning. So that means the content is more focused and the narration appeal is more straightforward, that either focusing on the hedonic things or the rational things. So that means in that case, this research model, we only consider one category in each variables, and we want to examine their matching effects. But for traditional marketing videos, I think some of this might not be applied since they are more complicated in terms of their narration or plots, or the different changing of the different angles of cameras during the whole process. And just mention about the background music. I think this is a very good, also a very good research angle, because we find some previous research examining the music features on the videos. But in this study, because we focus only on these three perspectives, so we control for the music, background music in each video. But if you are interested, I think you can also explore the effect of the music in the videos. As I said, because we utilize experimental design, so the factors that we can focus are really limited. We cannot focus on too many perspectives, but I think what you mentioned is really interesting. And you can also find some research to support your notion. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
And
okay, good question and answer.
Professor, I do have another question.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Speak up.
Yeah. Another question is that, like, actually we cannot predict with what kind of short form videos is like viral or not. So when the short form videos is viral, the destinations is like suddenly crowded, and also it can lead to the over tourism. So if the destinations is not well prepared for that, so the tourists can get like negative experience. So how do you think of that issues?
Okay, that's another research stream that's explaining, investigating tourist expectations and their experience. We have the expectation confirmation theory that suggests that your experience should be matched with your expectation, right? So I think in China we have a lot of this phenomenon that suddenly the destination goes viral on the internet and they're not ready for the tourists. So they have the destination organizations, they have taken some measures to control the volume of the tourists every day, so they need to book their tickets online because there's a limited number of tickets being sold online because they want to guarantee that every tourist have good experience. I think this is quite a practice-oriented issue for the destination. So I think if they if they are spending their money on the short video marketing, they should get ready for the tourists, right? If they think that they have developed very good strategy and they want to focus on the marketing of using short videos, because nowadays if you want to market or do advertisement on TikTok platform, you should spend a lot of money. That's a quite huge spend. If you have spent that all money, your destination should also be ready for that. I think the management should consider that.
Okay, Professor Shi.
Okay.
What do you think about her questions?
Sorry?
What do you think about her question? I am at questions. Your judgment about the question she raised. Is it? I mean, she asking her question about this research model and idea, whatever. So, as a professor, what do you think about her questions?
You mean just the question just now about the expectation?
Now. The questions now.
You mean for research? I think. Well, I think this kind of issue has been discussed by previous research. I mean, the expectation and the experience. So as I said, I think this nowadays is more practice-oriented issue for the management.
Okay, good. And other questions?
I have a question too.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for your presentation. And I have a very simple question. Did you show me stimuli 4 types of narrative styles?
Anna, I can't hear you clearly. Please asking once again.
Can you show me 4 types of narrative styles of stimuli before slide?
You mean the 4 types of narration appeal? The experiment material? This one?
Next slide. This. So what is standard for writing this kind of script? Rational style or emotional style?
You mean the difference between the rational appeal and the emotional appeal?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just take this as an example. This is a rational appeal for the activity, right? So when this narration is describing the glass water slide, they discuss some functional aspects of the glass water slide, such as the 1 kilometer long, transparent, and extremely fast, professional slide design, and keep the water off your clothes. Some functional aspects, but if we describe it using the emotional appeal, we said that glass water slide can bring you a great joy as you're walking through a jungle and such wonderful experience. So these are related to the emotional experience, and these are related to the functional or utilitarian experience. So after the participants, they have watched the short video along with the narration. They have been asked to rate how do think of the narration in the short video, whether this is more rational oriented or emotional oriented. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Anna, is the answer for you?
You
don't know. Anyway, keep asking until you are understanding thoroughly. Okay. The asking is the capability. Okay, Professor Si Shi, thank you very much. Yes, you are almost we are time done. 3 minutes left. So I want you to ask to express your feeling and thought about this class, the seminar, and your advice for our students and for the students who wants to be a professor or a researcher. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ku, for your invitation again. And I think this is a really great opportunity for me to communicate with some future scholars in the tourism management field. And I think the students, I don't know whether they are master students or PhD students, but the questions they ask are really good ones. And I think they have read a lot of literature on this field. Or maybe they are not in this discipline, but they have a good understanding of the research. And I think this is a really good course for you to invite various scholars from different places to deliver them with some recent research or frontiers topic on the tourism management. And this is a good opportunity for them to learn and to develop their research. I think for this course, I don't know if this course are all like seminars, or you still have some kind of workshops to help the students develop their papers. I think the workshops could also be helpful for them after they have attended several seminars. They must have their own topics they want to develop further. So I think they will be very successful in their career if they really devoted to this course.
Okay, she's been in this field as a professor. She's been about 10 years. Now she promotion to the full professor, which is quite a successful career so far. So I inviting her to this seminar because her diligent researcher and very recent publication record she got is fantastic. Sometimes we will see her in a conference, and I'm give very big hand for her presentation today. Thank you very much, Professor Si Shi, and I look forward to see you in a conference in Seoul or or other country.
Okay, I look forward to that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.